Hey, what is happening everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today we have ourselves the Kiwi Design All-in-One battery audio strap. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, although this thing just came out, we actually have already kind of reviewed it since we did have the audio strap and the battery strap, and went ahead and combined it into a single all-in-one Kiwi Design strap soon after it became an official product. Now, it wasn't because of me. They probably already had this planned, and they probably just wanted to test things out before they go ahead and release this thing. But either way, here we have it, the ultimate Kiwi Design strap, and we're probably going to be seeing a whole lot more of these very soon. Anyways, first of all, in terms of comfort, it's the typical Kiwi Design strap, but with more weight in the back. Now, what does that mean? Well, first off, we have two layers of member foam, one on top, one on the bottom. You can kind of adjust it if you need to, and these are resting on a semi-flexible piece of plastic, which, yes, again, is removable. And on the top, we have the Kiwi Special that you see on pretty much all other headsets, which is basically a beefy memory foam pad that is built in right into the center strap, and it's nice and comfortable. The materials are great, and everything about it is pretty nice. Now, when I reviewed the original strap that did not have the battery or the audio strap, I kind of found the padding here to be kind of a hindrance, since it was too much padding and there was not enough weight to kind of keep it down. But now that we have a lot of weight going all around it, on the front, in the back, and on the sides, with the actual ear cups, it makes a whole lot of sense now. It gives you nice padding, very comfortable, and things are pretty balanced out. So when you put this headset on, it's going to be way more comfortable than any other strap that you probably tried, because now you have some support on the sides as well. Now, the actual padding here is very good, it's very comfortable, and it does work pretty well. And it gives you a nice, non-intrusive experience. The actual mechanism is pretty good, so it goes side to side, up and down. Now, it also has some pivoting motion, as well as rotation, which actually changes the angle where this thing can pivot. So keep that in mind. You can rotate it, and then you'll have more motion depending on where you have it. And finally, these things are spring-loaded, and they feel pretty good with an ample amount of pressure. Not too hard, not too soft, pretty good. Now, in my case, with my ears in my head, the experience using these ear pads is actually pretty good, but not amazing. They kind of sit there, they're decently comfortable, and overall, can't really complain too much about them. Not like we have any better options. Now, when it comes to the audio experience, these things are kind of lackluster. Unfortunately, the trebles and the mids are kind of muddy, the bass is just alright, but overall, it's a better experience than what you get on the built-in Quest. But considering these are dedicated ear cups, they do leave a lot to desire. But have no fear, because we're going to go ahead and upgrade these things with a pair of Koss Pros. If you don't know anything about these sound pretty amazing, and the price point is pretty fantastic. Trust me, they don't look all that great, but the sound quality is just out of this world for what these things are. So what we'll do is actually take the sound drivers out and install them inside the ear cups, which should technically give us the ultimate experience. So before we jump into that, let's go ahead and talk about the battery. So the advertised battery life on this thing is 6400 milliamp hours. And this thing took the top spot for the best battery life out of all the straps we have reviewed and will be reviewing very shortly. So it actually got almost 5000 real milliamp hours. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, to put it simply, the internal battery that is 6400 milliamp hours, when it does a power conversion to be outputted to 5 volts, there will be some loss of power. And to measure that, you actually go ahead and fully charge it and then fully drain it and calculate how many total milliamp hours you get out of this thing. So again, this thing got 5000 milliamp hours compared to the best one, which is 4200, and that one is claimed to have 10,000 milliamp hours, and we'll investigate what's going on there in the next video. The Bobo VR B2 with 3400, the Obica Elite strap with 3353, and the official Elite strap with the lowest number of 3091. So pretty great. However, if that's just enough, perfect. If not, then you're going to need more battery life. And how are you going to do that? Well, you need some kind of hot swappable solution, which the Bobo VR B2 provides, using the portable battery modules. But nonetheless, pretty great battery life, especially if you're a casual user and you're just looking for audio and battery and not a lot of battery life. Just looking for a balanced, proper experience that Facebook should have provided from the get-go, instead of providing you that flimsy little strap. So with all that being said, is this thing worth $120? I would say it's a much needed upgrade, but again, the sound quality here just leaves a little bit to be desired. But overall, if you're looking for something to slap on and be good to go with a decent battery life and a decent audio experience that is much better than what you get in the internal speakers, then this is definitely a good option. By no means is a bad option, it is definitely one of the good options that you can go for. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone. So to get started, go ahead and grab the base and rotate the actual ear cups, and they pop off just like so. Then you have yourselves 4 screws, which you go ahead and unscrew, which will leave you with a shell that you should be able to just pop out. And yes, if you're wondering, it does have some light adhesive. Now what we have here is actually the sound driver, and it has 2 different contacts. And basically we can just go ahead and unsolder these. And now for the fun part is to go ahead and take apart the Koss. Now you can pull these up like so you avoid ripping them, since it has a bunch of tiny little plastic pins. To be honest, I feel like I'm playing kind of Lego, so there's another plastic piece that kind of pops outwards. Alright, so yeah, that seems to be the case. This thing is basically the entire sound driver. It's very lightweight, looks pretty fragile, and it kind of saddens me that I'm going to have to go ahead and destroy this headset. If you want to see how good it is, you can go ahead and watch my video on my other channel where I actually review this thing. But this entire thing may not actually fit, unless of course we trim the edges without destroying the entire shell. Now, is that possible? Well, let's get a visual idea of it. And to be honest, it looks quite possible and quite risky. But let's go ahead and continue with it and see where we end up. Here we go. Now you'll notice here that we have two different edges. The outer edge is we can go ahead and cut this off, but we have to stop right around this ring right here. That is the actual sound driver frame, and we definitely don't want to damage that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and clean the edges after I find out if I got it right or not. Let's see if it's around the same thickness. It does look like it. Now if you're wondering about this, we actually took it apart last time, and that's what that looks like. You just gotta be careful, have a nice strong prying tool with a nice metal thin edge, and take your time by slowly getting an edge out of it and taking it apart one side at a time. So, the moment of truth. Yep. That looks like we can actually whoops. So as I was saying, yeah, it does look like it will actually fit in here. We just gotta clean the edges a bit more, and it should be a pretty straightforward process. Now for this one, it will be best if you have a metal nail file or some sandpaper, but if you have none of that, you can use a razor blade, but you just gotta be extra careful from not cutting yourself and not damaging the actual speaker. Now this entire time you actually have to be careful by not squishing this membrane, as it's pretty soft and you can easily damage it if you put too much pressure on it. So be careful while you're doing this entire process. And just like that, we can actually push it right in, and it clips in very nicely. Fantastic. So here's the side-by-side. Alright, so this is the part of the video where I tell you how I screwed up and how you can avoid what I've done. The first thing I know for sure is that I probably applied way too much heat while desoldering and soldering back on the wires. Trying to do it behind a camera while having to deal with a very awkward small cable that's kind of hanging from a headset that's not really stable is really not a great way to solder anything that's fragile. I did kind of mangle this thing at the end after I found out they no longer work. I was trying to find where the actual contacts are for the speaker wires. Now it could be the actual blue line here, I'm not too sure, that might be it. But essentially, if I was going to do this again, I would keep about an inch or two of extra slack. Cut it off right here, and then solder that point to the actual strap, instead of trying to solder it directly back onto the contact points, because that's just too risky, too much of a hassle, especially with the weird angle that we have. I had helping arms, but they did not help whatsoever, because the whole thing, was not stable to begin with. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Just thought I'd share it. I was going to put it as an unlisted video, but I thought that was going to be a bit too much of a hassle for some people, so I just kind of threw it at the end here. Hope this helps. Let me know if you decide to do it and how your experience went, and if you have any tips. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, bro.